Brothers, honestly, I'll tell you right now, the most patriotic person has money and still loves America and the Constitution, I'd stick Ted Nugent in there first. Because I'll guarantee you, Ted Nugent would love to be in the presidential seat, and he would take care of the Constitution, he would respect the Constitution, he would never want to take away your rights for it. Anybody like him even, an American citizen, not a piece of Muslim garbage who doesn't have any alliances to the United States of America. Quote, Barack Hussein Obama isn't even his real name. His real name is Barry Soetoro, okay? Barack Hussein is a Muslim given name and he took his daddy's last name. He's lied about his American citizenship. He's lied about his name to the American people. He's lied about his allegiances. He has broken the Geneva Convention.
You were pretty angry at Capitol Hill.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Why were you so angry?
We were angry because we were being herded like cattle.
So you didn't like that? You grabbed
Yes, I did, and I broke the barrier.
And how'd that feel?
It felt wonderful. And what even made me feel even better is, if you have seen the video, you've taken notice that our children were right there in the presence of watching it. And for them children to stand up and cheer us Americans that broke the barrier and walked across what we were told that we weren't allowed, that showed them that they have the right to do what they feel is right for our country.
So what's the biggest danger you see?
Our biggest danger is the elite feeling that we're just animals to where you can cage us and eliminate us anytime you choose.
So how are they doing that?
How are they doing that? Wow, in a lot of ways. Militarizing our police forces, scaring, making parents stay up late nights watching their streets in fear that you could be invaded in your home.
Invaded by
police forces or whatever. UN.
You guys all got children? Do you care about your kids? Your grandchildren? Your nieces and your nephews? Because they're all going to be freaking slaves under this monster. Every one of them. Every one of you. There's a FEMA camp waiting for you.
Do you think they're going to put the police in FEMA camps?
Absolutely.
Right.
They're only good for as long as he wants them.
What do you have to say to those people?
Kaboom.
What's that?
Kaboom. That's what you got to say to them. Anytime you have tyranny inside this White House, that it's their jurisdiction and their civic duty to remove it.
So which things is it that you're upset with?
Well, many different things. Our jobs leaving the country. It was not long ago, everything was built here in this country. And now we are a nation where we import everything. All of our businesses have been textile businesses, manufacturing has been sent across the water.
So you would be against the bailout of Detroit?
I would.
Because by saving that industry and keeping it in Detroit, somehow we lost more jobs.
General Motors took all that money and sent it to China. They did. And I should add,
not all of it, but a lot of it.
You know, you asked me what that represents to me. What it used to represent anyway was freedom and liberty and the people. But the people no longer are being represented up there.
Now, who do they represent?
They're a puppet government. They're owned by corporate businesses. A lot of it stems from the Federal Reserve and the monetary system. Our system is a system of currency and not money. The people are led to believe that their currency is money. It's not. And if you follow the money, you find all the problems that.
So who runs the Federal Reserve?
Who runs the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, who's pulling the strings?
Well, there's a lot of different theories to that, but they cover it up very well.
Voters in, money out. Voters in, money out. Voters in, money out. Voters in, money out. Voters in.
They say corporate money out. What do they mean by that?
Corporate money out. Excuse me, sir. Our country for some time, for many decades, you know, corporations. But this is much larger. This is more larger. When you have corporations that are buying boats, buying lobbyist boats, you know, here in America, and our politicians, they're buying policies. These politicians do not work. They're career politicians. They're working for that check. They're selling us out like Harry Reid.
So which corporations are buying politicians?
All of them. Are you kidding me?
Listen, why don't you go ask Harry Reid? It seems that he likes to tap into everybody's pocket, and then when they cut him off, like the Koch brothers, he wants to make some kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, but all I know is it's unnatural, just like the man Harry Reid.
This is just the beginning. We are just the tip.
The tip of what?
The tip of the spear.
As the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched.
What is anonymous you guys like about, let's say, the Tea Party?
Stand up. I like willing to stand up. Yeah, I stand up for both Occupy and the Tea Party because they stand up for different issues, but both issues are problems with big business running government and government running big business, both of which fuck us. So we're here to support both sides of this party because we're getting screwed from both sides of it.
I don't support the freaking Tea Partiers.
You don't?
No, sir. I think they're fake. I think Rand Paul, I think that they're all just putting it out there. That's all right. They're all rich people. I don't want to put rich people in power again.
It's good these kids are interested.
They're interested,
for sure.
Good.
And they know what and they actually know something. These kids really know something.
Let me hear that.
You got to remember that there were two far left groups in Germany at the time. You had the communists and the fascists. See,
fascists were on the right.
No. If you look at the political spectrum, see, this is where there's a lot of confusion. Okay, on the far right, you have zero government. On the far left, you have 100% government.
Right.
Okay, so when you look at the political scale, that's how it works.
What about
on the far right, on the far left, you have your fascists, you have your communists, you have your monarchies, you have your oligarchies, you have all these totalitarian big government people.
Monarchy
groups.
is not left, though.
Yes, it is, because you have total rule.
The left is about representation of the people, which is absolutely
no. That's actually center right. Yeah. It's center right, because the less government you have, the more you have, or the more you are towards the right. Okay, the less government there is.
Anarchism isn't communism. It's a little different.
Yeah, anarchism is on the far left. That's most people think anarchism is no government, but anarchism is actually the absence of government, because when you have...
We had a period of time where people ruled themselves in the 1870s, 80s, 90s, Gilded Age, but half of America went hungry. So...
But why did that happen, though? It wasn't that half of America went hungry.
It's the capitalist system.
Well, it's not the capitalist system. You got to understand who these robber barons were. Who were these robber barons? You had Cecil Rhodes. You had the Rockefeller family.
Carnegie.
You had the Carnegies. You had all these guys. These were global elites.
But there's so much information out there. How do you know what's true and what's not?
Well, you gotta. There's a couple ways. One is obviously you have to study history. The other way is that you have to stand on something that has a standard that you can count on, that no matter what you do or what you say, that standard will always exist. It's like flying on instruments.
Now, what's that for you?
What that standard is, not just for me, but for anybody, is really biblical Christianity. Why is that? Because God says, and because He is the ultimate authority in the universe, He has the power, and because He's the maker, has the authority to standardize things. Well, let me put it this way, because this is important to understand. When you hear the left talk about, they talk about the rich, how the rich are oppressing the poor. Well, the 1%. Okay. What they're not talking about the Bill Gates. They're not talking about the Rockefeller family. They're not talking about the Rothschilds. They're talking about the middle class. Because if you look at whom they say are the wealthy are, let's say, small business, medium to large business owners. They're not talking about the Walmarts and them.
So when Occupy was calling for Glass-Steagall to keep the investment banks out of speculating with people and have control over those like big monopolist banks, that you call the middle class?
No, but here's the thing. The Occupy movement was not going after them. They were going after the middle class. They were. You have to understand who was promoting the people that were funding. Okay, the Occupy movement were George Soros. Okay, and you had other. I don't remember all the. I don't know all the other people that were funding it, but it were basically the elite.
So you're saying it was an AstroTurf operation?
What it was basically a Hegelian dialectic model.
Yeah, I mean that's what they tried to do.
It was smoking pot, drinking, trash, dirty.
All I'm saying is, that might have been, but there were a lot of good people out there, in the Occupy camps who would back this up. And since this is like Operation American Spring, like if you don't support this, then don't come. But I think a lot of people would show up.
You could put the tents there, because they just did it at the FCC for 9 days. And you could cite them, you could tell them, look, they did it you could tell the park police who will come here and ask you what you're doing. You say, well, they did it at the FCC for 9 days, and they didn't get kicked off. And that was federal property, and this is federal property, so why is that different than this? And they did. In fact, the commissioner came down, Commissioner Wheeler came down at the FCC to talk to the people in the tents, and there were 9 tents there. So, do you want to put tents up here? You can do that. And actually, they did sleep in the tents over there, too. So, I mean, it's a double standard when you think about it.
Let's go and pitch our tents.
Why are they going to be able to sleep? And they did. I witnessed it. I was there videotaping. I've got the video here. I've got the photographs. I can prove it to you. If you set up your tents and slept here, what would they really be able to do to you? Issue you a ticket? Tell you to move?
So maybe if you get arrested, we'll be on television. And then
no, they'll say the disgruntled American gets locked up because